So this is Richard with RichMade Knives, and shooting a video today. I wanted to turn the camera around for, I think, probably the first time. You guys may have seen a couple of videos where I stuck my face in for just a second, but I never really had a video where I turned the camera around. So I thought it was finally time to turn the camera around and say hi to you guys, and from this point forward probably shoot quite a few more videos with the camera turned around. So we'll call this a little bit of Meet the Maker, talk a little bit about my shop, what I'm doing, why I'm doing what I'm doing, and so forth. So to start off with, you probably hear that clicking noise in the background, and you might see the lights dim ever so slightly. That's because I'm heat treating a blade in my kiln, which is back there, and it draws quite a bit of current, and it can cause it when it clicks on and off to maintain the temperature. It's firing at 1475 right now. It actually dims the light here in my basement just a little bit. So talk a little bit about me. So you're in my shop. This is my knife workshop. I built this workshop about 3 months ago. Prior to that, I had a small workshop in my garage, but I live in Colorado, and in the winter the garage gets really cold, so I knew come winter I would have a problem. So I had to moved my workshop down into my basement and had some extra power outlets run down here, and I built a whole bunch of workbenches and everything. So in a future video I will do a shop tour. I'll show you guys around my workshop. You're probably wondering why there's flags. It's a very large basement. I only used about a quarter of it for my workshop, and I hung up flags. I circled my entire workshop with flags of various different things, just to give it some decoration and to give it a little bit of separation from the rest of the basement. I've already pretty much reached a point where my workshop is spilling outside of the original size I thought I would need. I'm actually going to probably end up busting through the other half of the basement here and needing more space as I add equipment, but for now it's at a pretty good size. So what I want to talk about, so a couple things. One, a few of you have inquired with me about getting a knife, so I'll talk a little bit about getting a knife, what my process is going to be for building knives and things like that. So this is a part-time thing for me only. I don't do this full-time. I actually work in IT, and this is just a hobby of mine. So I'm not like actively out there looking for knife orders or customers to build knives for. It's just more as I'll take it as they come, and if I don't have an order, then I will build some knives and probably offer them up for sale. I'm working on my website, richmadeknives.com. I just switched over to a new content management system there, and so I think within the next couple of weeks I'll have my website pretty much done with a whole bunch of extra information, and if I make a knife to sell, I'll post it up on the website. For right now, I've got some orders in the hopper. I've probably got about, I would say, about a month's worth of work already booked out. So if you want a knife now, you're probably going to be about a month out. So the process for me that I'm doing right now is all of my knives are completely custom. There's no duplication. I don't mind if you say I want a knife like the one you made before. That's fine. It's not going to be exactly the same. It'll be inspired by another knife that I may have made in the past, but they're all completely made one at a time by hand. So the way I usually work is you tell me what you're looking for: blade length, blade shape, blade steel. We use titanium as the handles. We can do a liner lock, or I will be doing frame locks, and I can do frame locks. I haven't done one yet, but it's not an issue. I'm using fairly thick fairly thick titanium on my current liner locks. So we can, order a little bit thicker titanium. So the way that it works is you tell me what you're looking for. We work together on the design. Based upon the materials and the steel and so forth that you choose, I will quote you a price, and whatever that price is, let's say for argument's sake you spec out a knife and I tell you the price on that knife is going to be $400, for example, You pay half up front, so you would pay the $200 deposit, which allows me to order all of the materials and get you onto my books, and you're committing some funds to that process. So you would pay me half of the cost of the knife. I order all your materials, I get you on my books, and then I build. When I start building your knife, you'll receive videos, you'll receive photos. We'll talk quite a bit along the way. It could take 2 to 4 weeks to build your knife, because I'm only in my workshop on the weekends, and then once in a while in the evening, but for the most part on the weekends. So it could take up to a month to build your knife once I start on your knife, but along the way I'll be asking you a whole bunch of questions, I'll be showing you photos, and we'll be conversing, so you'll see your knife as it's being built. Your knife will probably, when it's finished, or maybe even along the way, be part of my YouTube videos. So keep that in mind. If you don't want them to be part of a YouTube video, just ask. It's not really a problem. So once the knife is finished, then you pay me the balance due, the second half of the payment, and then I'll ship your knife out to you. So that's pretty much my ordering process. If you're interested in contacting me, I'm on YouTube. This video, you can reach me through there. I am on Facebook. You can just search by my name, Richard Kloc, K-L-O-C is my last name. You can go to richmadeknives.com. I'll have my contact information there. My email address is richard@richmadeknives.com. You can reach me through Instagram. I'm on there as RichMade Knives, so I'm pretty accessible. I'm on USN. My USN and Blade Forums user ID is W4RMK. Of course, RMK is RichMade Knives. So for those of you who know amateur radio, W4RMK is an amateur radio call sign. I've been a ham radio operator for 15 years, so that's where that comes from. It's something I've had for quite a while. So I'm gonna, as I said, I'm turning the camera around for the first time, talk to you guys a little bit about why I got into this, why am I doing this. One thing I do want to mention is that knife is firing in the kiln, as I said earlier, and when that's done, I've got to go over there and quench it in oil. So we have to cut this video off when that's done, and it's got 11 minutes left to go. So at 11 minutes, this video is going to end for sure. So, as I said, I'm going to turn the camera around, be talking to you guys, talk to you a little bit in the future about why did I get into this hobby, how did I get into this hobby, what's my goals with it. My goal is not to do this for a living. It's not to become a famous knife maker. I think the knife making field is getting crowded. So for those folks who want to get into knife making and do it as a living, I think that's going to be challenging. Luckily, that's not my intention at all. I just want to do this for fun, make knives that people hopefully will enjoy and use, and think that they are nice designs. So the first couple of prototypes that I made, you guys probably saw. If you haven't seen those videos are on my channel. They were proof of concept knives. I wasn't trying to get fancy with those or anything like that. They were just intended to be learning on how to do a folder. So now that I've started making some customer knives, obviously the materials that I'll be using will be whatever the customer wants them to be, but we'll be getting a lot fancier. I have a ton of knife ideas, really cool things I want to try. I'm going to make some knives that'll probably look strange, or that a lot of people would say would never want that, but I don't want to just make knives that look like knives that everyone else has already made. I want to do some kind of interesting stuff. And so I'm going to make some really small knives, make some really big knives, make some really fat knives, thick knives, some different blade shapes and things like that. So, hopefully that will come in the future. Now, if it turns out I get a whole bunch of orders, well, and the time to make test knives and interesting knives will be greatly diminished, because obviously I would be putting customer orders in front of prototype or knives that I would just offer up for sale. Customers always come first. So also I do want to mention I do customization. So if you have a knife that you want to have anodized or anything, you know, done to it, carving, flame anodization, I do carburization, all kinds of stuff like that. You can contact me and I'll quote you a price for that. I'm focused mainly on making knives, but my books are still open for customizations. I've done several of those over the last few months too. Those don't usually take as long. I could probably usually knock out a customization in a half a day. So, so what I wanted to talk a little bit about in the last few minutes of this video is, you know, kind of what's coming, what's next. So I've got some knives that I've got to get done, 3 or 4 customer order knives I've got to get finished, which I think will take me about a month. But some of the interesting things is I'm starting to I want to push the boundaries of the materials that I'm using. So you probably remember this is folding knife number 1. I'm sorry, folding knife number 2, and this was the razor style. I did a video on this. If you haven't seen it, take a look at it. This just a heads up. This knife came out great. It's actually getting better, smoother as I use it more. So yeah, this one came out great. So one of the things that I did is I wanted to make some knives with Damascus. So I ordered some bars of Damascus. I wanted to show you guys that. So check this out. It's really, really nice. This is, it's made with blends of 1095 and another different type of carbon, high carbon steel. So this is not like super expensive Damascus, but it is very nice. It's precision ground, so it's super, super straight, and it's got a great finish on it. So I'm going to be making knives with this. It's a fairly thick steel, a bit thicker than what I've been using. So it's, you can see there, probably easier to see it this way. It's a little bit thicker than what I normally use, but not so much so that it's going to be an issue. This is already etched, but in my process I will wipe that etching out as I grind away, and then I'll re-etch this. That'll be one of the final steps. So I got 4 bars of Damascus here, and there's 2 different styles, 2 bars, 2 different styles per bar. So I've got 4 bars of Damascus. It's again, as I'm learning, I'm not buying like really expensive. I mean, for those of you who know Damascus, good luck getting a custom Damascus knife under about $1,000. They're just really expensive. And this is not anywhere in that price range because it's carbon steel. Because I'm learning, I'm not ready to you know, a bar like this and like Chad Nichols Damascus, this bar right here would probably be $300, $200 to $300 for this one bar right here. So you can see the price, the cost of just the steel in a Damascus knife gets very expensive. And so this is low cost Damascus, but it's made with the same type of steel that I have been using, which is high carbon tool steel. So if you're interested in getting a knife out of Damascus, you can actually get one, a custom knife. So one of the advantages, because I'm doing this part-time, because I'm not doing this to try to make a ton of money off of my knives, I'm not doing this for a living, you can get a really nice custom knife at a price point that I've never heard of another custom maker doing what I'm doing. So if you're interested, let me know. Another interesting thing is this is going to be a little project. A knife for me is I really want to make a copper knife. So what I'm going to do is I ordered these 2 pieces of copper, and I'm going to make a liner lock with titanium in the middle, and then this is going to be the edge material. These 2 pieces of copper, and I'm going to hammer these. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat these up to an annealed state so that they get soft, which I've done some research is around 750 degrees. So all I got to do is put them in my kiln, heat them to 750 degrees, and then they'll get soft and annealed, and then I can hammer them. And I might have to probably heat them up more than once as I'm hammering them, but I'm going to make a hammered copper liner lock. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be for me. If you want one, you can get on my books and I can price you out what the copper costs. It's actually not that expensive. I think with these 2 pieces of copper were, I don't know, about $25, let's say, for these roughly for these two pieces, so not that expensive. So that's coming. Look for this copper knife in my channel after I finish my customer knives. This is going to be, I'm getting myself in on my own books for that. And then I've got a Damascus knife that's coming very shortly. That I'll do videos on this, and you'll see how this one comes out. I'm working on a knife right now for a customer, and they chose to go with this interesting G10. It's G10 in carbon fiber weave. So I don't know if you can see there. It looks kind of like black, and it's orange and carbon fiber. So you can see this is the I got to cut the shape out of the carbon G10 combo here. So it's actually layered. There's layers of carbon fiber and orange G10 mixed together. So I'm going to cut this out, and then we're going to carve it so that the carbon fiber and the orange G10 mix together and gives it a really cool look. So that's coming. This is the new titanium I'm using. So Mark, if you're watching, this is your knife. One of my customers, his name is Mark. This is his knife. So this is the piece of G10. Titanium, and then this is the lock bar side. You can see how thick the titanium is that I'm using now compared to what I was using before. It's close to double the thickness. So we're approaching frame lock territory. So that's the lock side, and it'll have this on the side. So it'll be a liner lock with this orange carbon fiber G10 on the outside, and then the titanium liners. So you can see I cut a little relief there into the titanium, so that what that does is it makes it easier to open and close the liner. So let's see how we're doing on the. I think we got 1 minute left for this blade to be done. So I'm going to end this video. It's been about 17 minutes. This is, again, first time I'm turning the camera around to talk to you guys. I think it's, from what I understand, it's generally better to do it this way than, normally all my videos, all you've seen is my hands. So I'm turning the camera around for the first time. Very, very happy. I think the knife community is great. I love this hobby. Everyone's been great to meet. As I go to most of the knife shows around the country, so if you see me, stop and say hello. If you're watching my videos and you recognize me, that would be great to know that I've got some folks out there who are getting to know me because of these videos, and that, of course, wouldn't happen if I didn't turn the camera around. So you're going to get raw commentary. You're going to hear my thoughts on things and my opinion on things, and you may or may not like them or agree with them. That's fine. I'm not expecting to have everyone agree with everything, but it's time to turn the camera around. So first video where I've done that. Nice to meet everyone. If you see me at a knife show, say hello. If you want to chat about anything knife related, contact me through email, contact me through Facebook, contact me through Instagram, go to my website at richmadeknives.com. And thanks. Have a great weekend. It's Super Bowl Sunday right now that I'm filming this video. I live in Denver, Colorado. Go Broncos. Go Peyton. I hope you get yourself a Super Bowl ring. The game is later today. That beeping noise you hear is the kiln telling me that the firing is finished, so it's time to do some oil quenching. Have a great weekend, guys. Thanks.